So good. You gotta love this stuff. You gotta love it. All right, guys. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Happy Hour Hangout here at the Director's Garage. I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, and LCD-4, still sticking with the LCD-4s. I'm not putting these away. These have been around for a minute here in the garage, and I keep going back to these things. Just love them. Such a good headphone. How's everybody doing today? I don't have all that much. We've got some good stuff today, though. We've got some viewer systems, some new photos from 2 different viewers, different rigs. Very cool. I think there's some setup. I didn't go through them that closely. We'll look at them live together, because that's what we do here. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Got a little bit of the hard stuff. I've been working around the house trying to get some stuff going. I've scheduled my physical because, you know, you're not working. You got to kind of take care of the health stuff. So that's what we're doing. Lots going on. Just nothing like moving forward as far as me getting a job. And this is the first week where I'm officially out of my old position. So I've had 3 days of like a lot of emails going out, and then today it's like got completely dead. Nothing going on today. So I'm like, and then I like researched. I was like looking for some new headphones and stuff to talk about. I'm like, there ain't nothing out there right now. It's a very, and the weather just broke today. Every day prior to this, it has been 100 degrees or more. And today it's like in the 80s. It's a beautiful day in Southern California. It's why we are here. But you know, no complaints. Don't need the air conditioning as much today. It's just kind of there. Last week was, as you know, hell on earth, and this, it was 123 degrees last week, and this week it's just kind of okay. So pretty good deal. Turn a little bit of the air on to get some. Yeah, get a little bit of coolness flowing here. How's your week? What's going on in your world? What's exciting for you? We are 2 weeks away from CanJam. I was thinking about doing a hangout on Saturday, which would just be us this week. I don't have anything, unless Ryan, you're not doing anything and you want to drop by and talk about challenges with Mod House. I haven't had you on in a minute, so you're welcome. If you have an hour free on Saturday, we could maybe schedule that. I'm doing this all producing the Hangout live on this show, but that will be that. I'm gonna probably try and maybe do that this week. I got to get us back on schedule of earlier in the month, because the week after I've got a lot going on. I don't know that I'm gonna have time for it, and then the week after that is CanJam. So I'm going to be most certainly at CanJam this year. That's the plan. And I hope to see you guys there. If you're going to be at CanJam, I'll have not this shirt on. I'll have something that says Director's Garage on it. And make sure you just tap me on the shoulder and say, hey. We'll say. Also, we did the Mass Cobo. I shouldn't even talk about this. The Mass Cobo review dropped yesterday. Did you guys get a chance to see that? I put a ton of production in on that one, and I had some fun. I was teased this for a couple of weeks, but I did have some fun with the ergonomic section, because they could have done so much more. And I hate calling anybody out for anything, you know, like ever. But that, the way the buttons are on that thing, and guys, if you saw it in person, when you go to CanJam, check it out. The buttons are absolutely like tiny, small, little, fragile little buttons on the front of that thing. I was just like, if I don't like talk about it in a serious way. I mean, granted, I was having fun with it. We were doing some comedy, great. But if I'm not telling you guys like what I'm really experiencing, what my thought is, you know, my serious thought is about it in a funny way, I'm not being truthful to you guys, and you know, so there you go. I was hoping that, but I hope you guys enjoyed that review, because it was was a very involved edit. There was so, I mean, I don't know if you can, like the number of pop-ups and crap and stuff I had moving around and all that stuff. It was a really production intense. I mean, there was more time on that edit than almost any other video I've done. There was so much going on. I was having fun with it though, and I wanted you guys to have a little fun with it too. And certainly the ergonomics were so ripe for me to at least say something there. But overall, I mean, it's such a great amp. And it's nothing I would turn away. Like if Cobo wanted me to be their spokesman for a year and, talk about, be happy, send one over, boys. It's a really good amp. But it's not, it's not something that I think I would go out and buy on my own. It's just so expensive, and there are such good amps for so much less money. And I don't know that that this amp is so much better that it's worth all this extra money, like it's good and it's great and it's got some amazing properties to it, but man, it didn't leave me going, gosh, I couldn't live without this amp. Whereas I kind of got that. There have been a couple amps in here that I was like, wow, I really don't want to let this go. The Nephilim 23R was one. Certainly the Ray Samuels B21, I didn't want to let that one go at all. The Ferrum stack was phenomenal. I mean, these are good quality products. And the Mass Cobo was like that, but I was like, I don't feel the need, like I really want one of these. So very, very interesting though time, and what a blessing to be able to get that product in here, even if it was just for a couple of weeks to go through. And Samir, the viewer who hooked me up with it through Ryan Dietz, really he sent that thing on tour because I had to send it to somebody else who wanted to review it. So when you're doing that level of thing, you're really helping the community. You're really spreading the word, helping spread the joy of this hobby. So nothing but great things to say about him, and the amp is righteous. There's no question it's a great amp. It's just, I don't know, it's so expensive, 15 grand. And it was 17 grand until the yen tanked. There you go. Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Hope you guys are having fun. We're going to look at some viewer systems in just a few minutes. I'll catch up in the chat here real quick, and then we'll go off and do some viewer systems, and then you guys can do that. But talk to me about the different quality, and if you have any questions about the Mass Cobo, I'll try to answer them. I pretty much said it all in the video, though. It was like, it's a phenomenal amp. It's a little underpowered for $15,000, and but it's still got unprecedented detail. Like it is the most detail I've ever heard out of at least a regular amp, and that's really saying something. That's really saying something. It really did special things. David Kirshner, happy Wednesday, everyone. And Ryan Dietz in the house. Ryan, I think, he just said this Saturday might be able to. Well, really, Ryan? Well, let's cozy up in the Hangover Hangout. See what's going on. But those usually is getting orders ready for Saturdays. He'd prefer to be voice only as usual. It'd just be nice to check in. I'd love to get a production update from you. How's it going? Just kind of give us a lay of the land. And like where you're at with all of this and the challenges you're facing, that kind of thing. I think it would be interesting to hear. So if you're interested, I'll send out the thing tomorrow. We may also get somebody from Noble in. I don't know. Maybe that'll be next month. If I get Ryan, I can have Noble jump in next month. But I'm just curious to catch up and see how you're doing. So maybe we'll do the Hangover Hangout on Saturday then, and then that gets us back into a good cycle, and then we can cycle back to the next one after Can Jam. Because that's the goal. It's all about, we got this big Can Jam coming up. I hope everybody's able to make it to that. So we'll do that. But if you guys are unaware, if I'm talking to a bunch of people who haven't done, I've got a Patreon. There's a link in the below thing in this description of this video that sends you to Patreon. You can go there. $3 will get you into the Hangover Hangout, which is a weekend cam to cam Zoom. We actually share cameras. We can actually talk about your gear, show off your gear, all that stuff. It's just really fun. It's very interactive. It's an interactive version of this live stream, except everybody gets to talk. So if $3 will get you in the door, and I don't even want to do that, but I've got to do something to keep trolls out, and I've had a ton of trolls lately. You see how I said trolls out? I think I just said it like a Canadian. Changing my accent for the show, eh? Well, let's continue in the chat and see what that's about. Too much. Yeah, it was a great review, Michael. Thank you. Thanks, Gil. That's nice of you to say. It's put a lot of work into that one. There's a lot of effort, and it was just trying to honor the fact that we got it in the first place, because not many reviews out there of this mass Cobo. There may be a handful. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm trolling for Cobo reviews, but I don't really think there's many, in the world, and I wanted to do my take on it for sure and put it out there and let other. And I'm sure that's got to be, people who just start ridiculously unhappy with my review, because I didn't just sit there and blast flowers at it. I talked about the things that really bothered me. So you try to. So Ryan will be able to this Saturday. So probably voice only as usual. Well, maybe you can just jump in and show your face for a second and say hey, and then go to audio only. I don't know. But I'd love to get your take on that, Ryan. And so I'll send you an email offline. And see if we can't set that up. And for those of you who want to watch that conversation and find out about how Ryan's doing in the Mod House Tungsten world, which we featured in yesterday's episode, certainly in a big way, you can drop by on Saturday, where it'd be 9:30 Pacific is our normal time, and we'll do that. Ace of Spades, howdy, cheers. Riviera AIC10. That's the, Ace of Spades, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the missing link here. That is really the amp that I have not heard in that upper tier. I've got two of the big three now, in the B21 Raider and then the Mass Cobo 465. That third one is missing. That's I got to find somebody who's got that can send it here for a couple weeks. That would be, yeah, your money's going away in that. That's like 20 grand, isn't it? Like 23,000 for that amp? Whew. I mean, you're into Dan D'Agostino money there. Whoa, God, it's so expensive. As I sit here with half or 2/3 of the Ferrums of the DCS stack, which is 31 grand. Not that anybody ever pays full price, but whatever. Hipster Cow says, hey, Spades, there is one on Head5 for only 10 grand. Oh, really? I didn't see that. Maybe that's something we'll do today, too. Maybe we'll go through the Head5 classifieds. Hipster, if you... US Audio Mart. I haven't looked. Okay. See, the US Audio Mart, I've worked with them a little bit, but, Head5's a little more friendly to finding stuff. Well, maybe we'll try and look that up. That's a very damn tempting, and that is one of the everybody talks about. But the attractive thing about that Samuels, though, is God, you get the electrostatic amp with it. So great. All right, so Hipster, maybe we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. We'll check that out. Arthur Haywood, happy hump day. Neil Snyder's B21 Raider amp comes with 100 hours of Ray Samuels phone chat. He will talk your ear off, but man, he is such a joy. That man knows how to spread the love. He's such a inspiring person. I've had him on the private chat, the Hangover, twice now, and he just lights it up. Such such a brilliant mind and fun guy to listen to, and got 1,000 stories. You just love it. Cheeky Fest says, I don't like the design of the Mass Cobo either. Yeah, it's a funny layout. You know, it's got the retro, you know, I call them the 80s buttons, the lit, backlit buttons, which is fine. I don't like that they're so shaky. I don't like that they jiggle so much. They really have a lot of play in them. But then the power switch, I mean, that's the big, you know, like, it's such an off the shelf part, I should say, in English, in the right order. It's such an off the shelf part, and such an, you know, like, if you're going to have something that's that basic, put it on the back of the amp, right? I mean, there's so many different ways you could do it, but I'm like, if you're going to have something that's that cheap, and that cheap looking, and that cheap in execution, why don't you just put it on the back of the amp? Why does it need to be on the front of the? I mean, that's the kind of thing you throw on the back of the amp, because it's just not very attractive, and it's this plastic switch in the middle of, you know, polished, and, you know, it's like they went halfway. I just don't know. Like, there's so many things I would love to know. Was it a matter of function over form? Or, you know, what made them come to those choices and those parts? Because, you know, the write-ups on this amp that I've read, because I did do a little bit of reading for it, for, you know, when I'm doing some research, and, you know, they said that they hand selected and custom selected every single component, and I'm like, well, you didn't custom select the buttons and switches, because those are so off the shelf feeling. Very good power, or very good volume attenuator, though. Whatever the volume attenuator is on that thing, like, they dropped some bucks on that. No question. The thing feels like nothing else. But the parts and the knobs, the buttons, like, these are run of the mill. Like, you could go to, what's the place, DigiKey, and order these cheap ass parts for pennies on the dot. Like, you could buy them in bulk for like 75 cents a piece. So it was just like, man, what the heck? You know what I mean? Very interesting. Very interesting, though. I just question the decisions that were made, and I'd love to know why. Because they could have done, you know, you have a blank palette. You can pick any switches you want. You can choose any knob size you want. And boy, you put a huge-ass knob on the front of that panel, which has got gobs of room for it. That small little volume knob is dwarfed on the front panel. I mean, it just looks like a tiny little thing sticking. You know, it's just not sized proportionally. So, you know, you could have done anything there, and they didn't. So I'm like, I don't know. Talking about the Mass Cobo 465, guys. I did the review, dropped it yesterday, if you're just joining in. And I had some questions. People had some questions about it and about the design. Just the design language is not great on that amp, and I don't. If you're going to that trouble and you're struggling with the design and you get it done, and it's kind of like, why wouldn't you know? You're going to put out a $15,000 amp. Spend a couple of grand on a design team to come in and help you rethink the front panel, because it should be spectacular. It should blow my mind, you know, when I look at it, like, man, I just want to, you know, touch the thing. You just want to flip all that stuff, and it's like, God, it just is the exact opposite. Crazy. Neil Snyder says, help, he hasn't spent money on audio gear this week, and he's suffering from withdrawal symptoms. Neil, you spent enough for a year on one product, so, you know, relax, enjoy the music. Cheers, my brother. Hey, gents, glad you can make it here. All is well. Nephilim, I've got your photos. We're going to show those in a few. Sorry, I'm chewing on ice. You're gonna get to see Nephilim's photos in just a few. He sent me some stuff. He's one of our two people who sent me stuff this week. Can or can't jam? I know, gonna have no money. I know. If you had to spare $15,000, it wouldn't go on a headphone amp. Yeah, it'd go on a reel-to-reel deck. I'd buy the ultimate reel-to-reel deck and sell this one. I'd get, see if I could find myself a Studer Oh, it's awesome, though. The Cobo take, Michael loved it. Thank you. You expressed this Nephilim. You expressed some good and fair opinions. I thought so. I mean, I don't try to... I didn't want to pull punches on it. I wanted to be honest about it. So, really good. Switches cost $1. I know. I mean, you know, you buy them in bulk and they're even come... You get the price down. But why not buy better switches or bigger switches? Like, the size of the switches are so small. Like, you saw my thumb. I mean, my finger was wider than the switch. And I'm like, you have so many possibilities. And you look at... I don't know, just like look at the stuff back there. Look at that, the Woo audio in the background there. I mean, you know, big, huge, chunky knobs and, you know, solid switches and, you know, stuff to, you like, why? Just made me do why. Zach talking to Ray Samuels, might be a B21 from in the ZMF room at Can Jam. Ah, okay. Well, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Man, that's great things, and I think that there might be another one coming down there, but he won't tell us the hotel room, so we can't steal it. Neil's got a B21. Those of you who are not in the know, Neil's got one, and he's shared photos of his too, and they're phenomenal. How do you get Director's Garage words into music bits? That's a trade secret. I'll tell you that offline. It's not that big a deal, but it's that I work so hard at all of that stuff. And I've talked about this on the other thing on the Hangover show. It's just a process that I spend a lot of time on. You know, most of you have guessed it's AI. There is some AI going on there. There's also a lot of work, a lot of creation. I can tell you that I spend days. I spend probably a day on each music cut. Because the way AI works is you tell it to do something and then it spits you back a solution. And then you tell it to do something else and it spits you back another solution. And none of these are right. None of these sound real. And the key for me is, like, I've got to listen to it and go, does this sound real to me? Does this sound, and does it sound silly enough? It's got to be stupid for the show. I need stupid shit for this show. I want the more ridiculous, the better, but it's got to sound real. It's got to sound right. So, yeah, I do some AI music on it, but I also send it into my DAW, and I work on it there after I get the finished whatever the AI thing does. I work on it there further. I enhance, I tweak, I change the stereo pans, I work with it, I'll compress it, I'll do things to it to make it sound better. On top of what the AI thing it did itself. But I'm also tweaking lyrics. It's just so fun, and I just get it to where I think it's just silly enough, but still sounding like it's real. It's got to be real to me. If it doesn't sound real, I throw it out. And I can tell you that I have thrown out I probably have maybe 24 tracks of different things that I have. I've thrown out thousands. I've rejected thousands and thousands of, at least 1,000 minimum, tracks. Like thrown it back and gone, nope, I'm gonna remix it. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. So it's a process on this show. I spend more time. It started costing money, which is the downside, but I am paying for it still because I want the show to be great. And this is a way to make the show what I want it to be, so I'm out of pocket for that. Just find ways to spend money on stuff you don't need. But I want new music. I want fresh music. I want fresh cuts. I want stuff to sound great. And I was working for a long time. I was using guys on, I don't know if you've heard of the service Pond 5. Pond 5 is it's a site for creators, and it hooks you up with musicians, mixers, graphic artists, anybody you need, photographers to shoot something for you, to create something for you. And I would send some stuff off to some Pond 5 guys, like some ideas that I had for musical cuts for the show. And then they'd send me back something and I'd get like 2 revisions, and then you got to pay them and you're kind of stuck with whatever it is. And it was never quite what I want. The fun thing about Pond 5 though was for some of the cuts, my wife, Mrs. Director, is on the cuts, because I actually recorded her here using my gear and sent it off to Malaysia, where the guy who was making the tracks then cut her in and built harmonies around her, which is really fun. So there are a few things, I won't say which tracks, but there are a few things that it's actually my wife singing, Mrs. Director. But the the economics of that is it was very costly. It was hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and AI comes along and I can mess with that, and then I can clean it up and I can make it better than they have it sounding when they give it to me, and I can make the music what I want it to be, and I can make it say what I want to say. I can be in the style that I enjoy. So I do all this blues stuff, but I mean, I'm telling you, people think, I see what he's doing. He's just going to an AI site and plugging in some stuff and getting the music spit out to him. Like, that's part of the reason I didn't want that I've been a little bit quiet about it, is because I don't want people think then that it's easy and that I'm just, he's just having the AI do it for him. He's not even doing the work. And I'm like, no, I'm really doing the work. I'm spending days on this shit, and I'm rejecting thousands of tracks to get one that I like. That's like, this is going to be it. And like the happy hour blues thing that we played at the top of the show, I can't tell you the days that are in that thing to get it just right, and to get the lead right, and get the intro right, and get the guitar solo the way I want it to go, and get all that stuff is manipulation, and I'm constantly, do it this way, and then it sends back something and it's still wrong, so I send it to do it that way. So there's just a lot that goes into it. So that's the short of it. So I have this thing, and you can tell it the voice you want, the style of voice you want, all this stuff you can do, and then have it, throw you back an idea, and then you're like, well, that's not bad, that's kind of interesting. What else can we do? Let's do something else. Let's try something else with it, though it's not quite where I want it to be. And, eventually you get to something that you like. And then, so I've got a folder, which has got, some cuts in it and stuff. And I try to add to it when I have time. I don't have a lot of time, but when I have time, I try and add some more shit to it and get some more interesting things and stings that will hopefully surprise you guys and delight. I'm enamored with the open of the show, which I call the Beach Boys Open, which is the doo-wop Beach Boys harmonies on Director's Garage. That I spent so long on that, 8 seconds, I can't tell you, and rejected so much and all the things. But the result is thrilled for me, because it's the open that I always wanted for this show when I was using the tracks from Epidemic Sound, which is in the link in my description. That's where I get all the standard tracks are all Epidemic Sound, and there's a code down there. You can get some discount if you go over there and you're interested in getting your own thing. But it's royalty-free music, and that's the whole goal. But I'm like, if I get to a point in my life where I'm getting all of this music, I'm getting to do all of this music myself, and I get all my own custom tracks, I'm like, that's going to be a hell of a show. It's going to be fun, because it makes it all different, and nobody knows what's coming. And the surprise is part of the fun of the show. Surprise is built into the show. What's in the box? Blind what's in the box. Blind auditions. What is it? It's the surprise is the fun of this show, I think. It's the turn left when you think we're going right. All that stuff. And yet there's still enough. I hope there's some information there you can take away too. Ray Samuels chiming in. Now, this is the benefit of having this. This guy is one of my favorite people in the world. As I was saying before, Ray Samuels is in the audience right now, and he says, "I'm watching you live now. Zach will bring the B21 Raider to CanJam. You heard it here first. If you have no problem taking it with you, I really want to keep it and to have some time enjoying it." Wow, Ray, that is awesome. Ray, that's the most generous thing, because I have no solid state amp right now, which is fun. Wow, that's a hell of an offer. Ray just offered to, first of all, he's going to be bringing the B21 Raider to CanJam. That's step one. So any of you who are in SoCal for CanJam, you'll be able to hear the B21 Raider in the ZMF booth. He's also offering that I can take it with me for some time to have it back in the garage as a review unit or a longer-term unit, right? And anytime you would ever need that back, you just let me know, my friend. I'm still in the hunt for another one of your products. You know which one. And I'm working hard at it, but I'm not getting the response I want yet. Hopefully it comes out. But and then if I can get a job, that's such a great amp. So, breaking news on the Director's Garage Live, in case you didn't know, Ray Samuels is going to be letting Zach take a B21 Raider down to CanJam with him. That is phenomenal. And it's great that you're doing that. And Neil is probably happy because he can save his back. He doesn't have to haul his B21 from NoCal, because now there will be one on the floor. That's great, Ray. And I hope that, first of all, two things. I hope that a ton of people get to hear this thing, because it's so good, everybody should hear it. I hope that people get to spend time with it. I hope it's not hoarded by like 2 or 3 people all day in the booth, because as many people should be able to hear this thing as possible. It's that good. And I hope, thirdly, that you get a ton of sales out of this. Nothing would make me happier, because it's a very expensive product. But I think Neil will tell you, Neil would agree with me on this and back me up. It's that good. That the B21 is that, it's the real deal. And having heard, I told you in the review yesterday, having heard the $15,000 Mass Cobo, and then, and having the B21 around in my notes and everything, and in my head, there is so much more for your money at the 12.5 layer. The Mass Cobo had 2 phenomenal things. It was amazing at detail. It was amazing at image. But all that other stuff was not even a comparison. I preferred the B21 across the board. Dynamics, soundstage, huge, much better. You get a whole electrostatic side of the amp. You get more power reserve, higher output, great gain staging on that amp. You can really, tweak that thing in. There's so many good things about that. To me, it's if you put both of them side by side, and then you got the looks of the thing, which is an amazing design with incredible hardware. I would take that. I'd take that amp every day. If you gave me one or the other, even though one's more expensive, the other one's a better product, in my opinion. And everybody's entitled to their opinion. So I appreciate it if you would disagree with me. That's fine, but I'm telling you what I think. That was my opinion. All right, so we're going to be getting we're getting for sure. Neil, you brought it up, and Ray just confirmed it. He's going to be sending a B21 Raider to CanJam. That's fantastic. So yes, Ace of Spades, I told you about that. We talked about the music on the show, the recent music from the last, probably dozen episodes. I don't even know when I started playing with it, but I just found it, and I'm like, well, I found the technology, and I just started messing with it for fun, because that's what I do, and then getting back to the AI music, and then I thought, wait a minute. What can I do with this? Like, there's got to be, I can apply this. I'm going to work to apply this and see if I can make it do what I want it to do for me and for you guys, for the show. And that's what we did. Nephilim says he thinks a volume knob was bigger on the Cobo. It would have made up for the budget buttons, if you will. Well, I think that they could have proportioned everything larger. Because, you know, you could go on DigiKey and look up the kind of buttons you can buy, the switches you can buy. You can buy big switches, little switches, toggle switches. You can buy anything you want. You know, push button on off. You can have them, you know, cycle. This one goes on, that one goes off. You can wire them any way you want, and they just chose these tiny little push buttons that don't appear to me to be built terribly well. And I'm like, God, you're paying all that money. You need to be getting value across the board. And there's no excuse for it. Anyway. Neil Snyder listened to Luck and Strange by David Gilmore. Very good. Who is this guy? Neil, that's funny. And I don't know if you guys saw it last week, just before we went live, I sent out, look in the show notes to last week's live stream. There is, maybe I can find it. No, it's too much to do because it's going to play music and it's going to get loud. But if you look at the live stream last week, or no, it was in my community chat. Hang on, boys, hang on. I can do that without causing trauma. Hold on 2 seconds. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'm going to put this in the chat in 2 seconds. If you looked at my live stream last week, I put in a thing from Gilmore. He was doing a studio rehearsal. I'm finally getting around to telling you the story that I was trying to figure out how to do this. But he was doing a live studio rehearsal of the album. And community, here we go. I'm gonna put this in the chat. Copy. Okay, I just put it in the chat now. You can go to that and you can watch David rehearsing that album live for the road, for his tour. And he throws in some Dark Side in there too. It's really great stuff. Phenomenal for a guy his age. David's what, 74? Let's look it up. David Gilmore. Oh. 78. Dude, 78 years old. Heading out on the road. And he looks and sounds that good. Go watch that video. Not now, when we're done with the live stream. I gotta not send people away. Someday I'll learn, boys. Someday I'll learn. But yeah, Neil, that's excellent. And so I put that in the community chat last week. If you guys forget, sometimes I drop stuff into community chat. When I see something that's interesting or I want to share with you guys, I'll put it there. I also tried to send it out on the Patreon stream, but it was already over. It wasn't live anymore. I sent that out when it was actually happening. Arthur says he refused to look at megabuck headphone amps. He doesn't think it's necessary. He's looking for bang for the buck. And I did that section at the end because I wanted to make that point that there are a lot of great amps out there for a lot less money. And you don't need to spend, even as much as I sing its praises, you don't need to spend $12,500 on an amp. And Ray himself has more affordable amps out there that you can purchase. Some stuff like the Faramore stack, the Hollow May, Hollow Spring setups, those are really attractive and they sound really good. So Cheeky Fest went off to bed. Good night in London. It's midnight there. Totally understand. It's a school night. Chance D. Mass Cobo, 15,000. B21, 12,000. Manny, Mrs. Radio Shack. Cheers, brother. I know this is all the top stuff, but you know, the top stuff is, you know, it's just fun to listen to. It's so good. It's so good. Gain Staging track is the one I love. Nephilim, my brother. I know. I love that track. That's another one. I spent forever on it. Like, the harmonies weren't right. They kept coming back off, and I'm like, this doesn't sound like... I want it to sound like an old school doo-wop group, and I'm like, and it just wasn't. They were sending me female vocals and all kinds of shit, and I'm just like, oh. So I finally got the thing I wanted to. But it's also fun to doctor that and add stuff to it too. I've added some subtle music stuff to some of these things just for fun because I wanted to be a part of it. So you can imagine me sitting in here with an electric guitar, figuring out a guitar part to add to some of these little snippets and singles and jingles. Hipster Cow says he can't wait to try the B21. For him, it's between the 465, EF1000, AIC10, Solista. Now, I don't know about the Solista. I don't know about the Caliste. The 465 was his favorite. Sucks that it's the ugliest, but he'll manage. Hipster, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just, that was just my design aesthetic. And don't let me, like, influence it. Guys, if you got something you love, love it. Don't worry about me bitching on it or needling it. And because looks are so easy, you know, it's the low-hanging fruit. It was ripe for me to pick on, and it was fun to do. And I had a lot of fun writing it, and I hope you had fun watching it and getting hopefully a couple of chuckles out of it. That was part of the goal too, was just to have some fun here. Jordan Hay says he can't wait to hear the B21. He's going to bring his Stax. Oh, L300L. That's a great old headphone. That's cool. Just to check it out. That's awesome. I'll make sure that there are Stax 9000 headphones there for folks to use. Yeah, I can throw mine in a bag too. I don't mind letting some folks check it out if you find me. Then you know to mug me when I'm there, because you'll know I've got Stax 9000 and it's as far in my case, you know, whatever. I'll have some higher end stuff. What I should bring though is the 007 Mark I, because that's a kind of a rarer bird. Don't you think? Like that 007 Mark I is the rare bird, and not a lot of people have heard that. And it's such an amazing. It doesn't give you the sparkle of the X9000, but it gives you a different bass experience on an electrostat. So maybe that's the one I bring, because it's so rare. Nobody has those. It's like 20 years old, but it's still a revered headphone. So I could bring the 007 Mark I maybe. Because I do rave about it. I do think the world of it. I think it's great. Fantastic, though. Nephilim says, Ray, if you read this, thank you. You are world class. Thank you for all of your creativity. Look at this. Ray, you're getting flowers over the web if you're still watching. These are our viewers. Nephilim Nicholas says, if you read this, thank you. Thank you. You are world class. Thank you for all your creativity. He hopes to own one of your amps one day. It would be such a crowning achievement. Man, that's gotta make you feel good to know people revere you that much. Jordan Hayes says, if we love the B21, how do we place an order? Well, you've got to email Mr. Ray Samuels, and I think it's, let me double check. I'll get this right. Email rsaudio, all one word, rsaudio at raysamuelsaudio.com. rsaudio at raysamuelsaudio.com. I would put this on the screen, but, you know, I don't have a Chiron generator handy in my back pocket. So that's how you email. That's how you get a hold of Ray. rsaudio at raysamuelsaudio.com. So there you go. Neil says, let me put it this way. Since the B21 arrived, he has not turned on the HM1 once. Yeah, that's I believe it. I believe it. Jordan, just call Ray. He'll answer. I'm not going to give out Ray's number on over the internets. He'll be inundated. I don't want to do that. But you can definitely email him, and that's fine. JDS Labs EL Stack, cheap and great. Have not heard it. Neil, I'll take your word for it. Is gain staging a sexual term? Oh, God. Let's skip that. He baited me into reading that. You just know I'm reading through the emails. Things you feel after gains or gains. Okay. Let's take a little 2-second break here. Let's go take a look at some photos while we're working our way blue in the chat. All right, so let's see. I'm going to start with, let's go to downloads. All right, I'm going to start with Kajitan. Kajitan sent us, he's a regular viewer on the show. All right, so let's open all of, stop that. Okay, guys, so let's go. This is viewer Kajitan, and he's sending us his desktop rig. And so this, you obviously see, is a mass Cobo. This is is this the 433, I think? It's the small one. And then you've got a Ferrum stack, and then you've got Oriolus IEMs attached. But I love this Ferrum stack. This is one of my favorite, I would say bang for the buck pieces you can buy. I'm not familiar with that the smaller mass Cobo. Maybe I can hear that at CanGen if I've got time. Same photo. Here's a close-up of this with a PW audio cable. Very cool. And an output. Very nice. Very nice. Very cool stuff, and I love these leads. He's got some really nice connectors from his on his cables here, and then you can see in the background there that is a Cord Hugo. I think that's a Hugo 2, if I'm not mistaken. And then this would be, is this a Sony? What is this? Looks like a Sony. Oh no, that's Canon. Canon has the funky screens, I think. Or is that a Canon? Boy, I'm just all messed up. Let's see what he's. Let me check the email real quick, and see if he IDs this, because I'm a little confused. That looks like a Canon to me, but I don't want to get it wrong. Kajitan. Inbox. Here we go. So it's mass Cobo components, Oreo, PW times. Oh, he doesn't say what this is. I was trying to identify what the DAP is, and I can't easily tell that. I don't see an easy label on it. But it reminds me of my Canon, so I'm wondering if it's one of the Canon players. I don't know. If you know in chat, let me know. Put it in the chat if you know. But let's move on to the next photo. Here's the Oriolus, nice IEM. I really like the ear cover on this, the ear plate. These little guys right here, very nice. Oh, he's got the hollow bliss and hello. So nice. See, I didn't see this photo. This is cool. He's got a nice setup here. That's the end of this one. So cool. That's the KN-N7. Thank you, Nephilim, for pointing that out. I knew it was a KN because the reason I thought it was a KN, I didn't say a note because clearly I was struggling. This pattern right here on the, this is the same as my KN-N8 case as far as those ribs going across. That's why I thought it was a KN. Anyway, so there's one, and then we're going to get to Nephilim's. Which is going to take a second because I got to preview, quit preview. This will take a couple seconds, fellas. Just bear with me. And I have a ton of photos here. This is going to be fun. I only worry that there might be some duplicates. Other duplicates? It looks like there are. Nope. These are all different photos. Okay. Well, these are going to be completely out of order because Nicholas sent us a whole bunch of photos. And we're going to set these up. Okay. All right, here we go. The first one I love because it's Pavarotti. And I'm going to blow this up just a bit. There we go. All right. This is we have Pavarotti. Can I turn this? Oh, I can't. Look at that. Oh, special effects. Special effects live on the air. Isn't that special? So these are. I've had these in the house. In the house. What? Now I gotta look up what all these things are. So bad. Are these FiO IEMs? I think they are. I think these are the FiO IEMs. FH7, thank you. And that is a this is chess. This is like one of those games where you've got to like figure out all of the different things. I think that's an AK. It's an AK player. It's an Astell&Kern player. So, but it's really nice, and I love the cable off of this. The cable's really pretty. Look at the gold. How nice is that? And here's a bigger stack. He's getting tricky for the road here. He's got the Diablo. Very nice. We like the Diablo. He just bought that. And that's another pair of FiOs, I think. Is that the... No. Yeah. Very cool though. And that's an Astell&Kern player. And he's married that to the Diablo. And then we go here. God, it's so hard to tell these things apart. Okay. This one is... It still looks like an Astell&Kern to me. What's the small amp here, though? That's the question. What's the small amp up here? Help me out, Nephilim, if you know what these things are, because I'm drawing it. This is the FiO IEMs, but I don't know what this is. I can't make it out. It's too far away, and I can't blow that up that much. But I think that's really cool. And then here, these are Audeze LCD-XCs. These are awesome. Check this out. Killing joke. That's awesome. Love it. Love it. Look at the LCD-XC. Oh, that's so cool. That's a great pair. Now mine were, I had this pair, but they were carbon fiber. The wood looks much nicer. Very cool on that. This is the same gig. What do you say this was? Cypher Labs. Cypher Labs. Okay. Got it. Very cool. This is another look at this. The road rig. This is cool though. Look at the Diablo. That's such a striking unit. And I know they've got a new one out, but that red is so striking. The only thing I noted is that the paint chips easily. Be careful with that. There's the Cypher Labs. Now we're getting a better look at it. Very cool. Let me zoom in. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice unit. It's a nice portable. Very cool. Like that. Same thing. And here's the the Astell&Kern can right here. Man, these are great. These are great, man. These are great. Ah, now we got the final audio. Now we know. Now we're cooking. Here's his Big Daddy. This is awesome. Final Audio D8000. Very cool. I like this headphone a lot. I thought this headphone was terrific. Whoop. Can we go more? Yes, we can. Here's the stack put together. The Cypher Labs with the Astell&Kern. Very cool. For walking around. Very nice. And some CDs. Who's Nephilim listening to? Sisters of Mercy. Fubland Bangless. Very cool, man. Oh, this is great stuff. See, this is why we do this. This gives you inspiration. There's a close-up of the IMs file. Very cool. I had a pair of these in for a while. Somebody sent me one. Maybe it was back when Lillian Dang went Linsol. I think she'd sent me something. Man, that was so fun. Nephilim, thank you so much, my friend, for sending that in. So appreciative. That's so great. It's just fun. Man, I love looking at the gear that other people are finding exciting. Even if if it's not for you or whatever, it's just fun to see what other people are getting into. It's why I like doing the classified reviews too. I may not have time for that today, but so fun. Very cool, boys. Very cool. Nephilim, thank you. And if you have, here comes my special effect. If you have some viewer system, your own viewer system you want to show off on this show, you can send it to directorsgarage@gmail.com. That's directorsgarage@gmail.com. And I'll put your photos of your systems up and we can check them out. And it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. I love talking about it. I like seeing them. It's our way to interact. We get to see what you're up to, what you're enjoying, and a lot of fun. A lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much, Nephilim. That was amazing. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, man. Okay. Let's continue on with the chat, and we'll, see how much further we go. I'm getting old. Neil Snyder says, Michael, if you volunteer your eStat headphones, he'll personally ship them back to you after the show. Yeah, I believe me, I would. I'd happily let you check out my 007s. I sent them to somebody else from our group, from the Hangover group. As well, Neil. So I have no problem. I'll let you lend those. I'll just bring them in a case so that you can travel with them without, destroying them. They're a little fragile. It's an older thing, but man, they sound great. But yes, I'd be happy to lend you those. He will say, Hipster Cow, he does absolutely love his Ray Samuels XR10B phonostage and preamp. Really wish he made a speaker amp to pair with it. Yeah, I'd love to try that someday. I still have my, what is it? I have the Emmeline thing. It's right here on the desk, 2 seconds ago. Oh, here it is. No, that's my order. Here it is, right up here. The Intruder. This is the best solid state amp I have in house right now, I think. Well, I don't know. The Mac, well, that's a tube. That's got a tube stage on it. So yeah, it really is the solid state amp I have in house. Unless I talk about my eStat amp, which I have the KGS SHV Carbon CC still here, which is a great sounding, phenomenal sounding eStat amp. Really transparent, beautiful, holographic sound. Hipster Cow says he will say he does absolutely. Oh, he did that. Chance B21 and Neil buying Ruth Chris for everyone at Can Jam is going to be a can't miss. Unfortunately, he will. Chance, I wish you could fly out, but I understand. Other things take priority. My only reason I get to go is because I can drive there. Because I have no money to spend at this one. At least, well, who knows? It's 2 weeks away. Maybe I'll have a job by then. That would be the best. Ben Bird says he has the same brand connector. Love the look. Yeah, really nice looking connectors. So cool. Those the 3-prong. KNN7, that was from Neph looking at Nephilim's photos. Neil says, still want to try a small tube preamp for the B21. Any recommendations? He says. Good question. Good question. Small tube preamp. You know, Neil, this might work. You might be able to make this work. I'm going to try, let me try and go to this, because I was perusing today because I didn't know if we were going to go to classifieds today or not. Let's go to, I'm going to see if I can find this. Yeah, I got it. Good. Classifieds. All right. Let's do this real quick. Let's go through some, because I found something that I think Neil might like. And I'll pause when I get to it. I'm just going to cycle through a couple of pages of HeadFi Classifieds. It's one of my favorite segments anyway. Let's go ahead and take a look. Because, boys, I saw something here that might work for Neil today. See my feature closed. 2000. It's a pretty good price. Pretty good price. Grado Xenon. I swear I saw something. Okay, well, here's one option. You might be able to use, I don't know if this has got a pre-out on it, but this bottle head is kind of a cool looking thing. Yeah, this might work for you. And these are not expensive at all. These are $575 for the one. But I was thinking about, there's an amp that Zach was selling, not the Aegis. The Aegis would be very expensive and not worth it. But I saw a pre. I think this has a good pre on it, but I got to find it. There's a Felix Euphoria. Probably use that as a pre. Not my favorite. Felix 70, but just here's a $7,000 preamp for you. You know, to pair with your $12,000. No. Where did I see this thing? Amps and sound, Kenzie. I don't know enough about this, but that could make a nice pre at $1,100. Pretty good price. Pretty good price. But it's not what I was going for. I saw a ZMF product in here. I'm trying to find it. Ooh, Quicksilver. What's this? Neil. What a cool looking device this is. You gotta check gain on this, make sure that the gain's okay, but it's adjustable, so you should be able to work it as a pre. That's nice. It's not what I was thinking about. It's Quicksilver, right? Fun stuff, but it's got a pre-out on it, looks like. SPL, overpriced. SPL's good stuff, but it's just like, if you're not into what they're selling, which is kind of like the manipulation, the sound staging, and all that kind of fun effect stuff, you're not going to take advantage of it. It's probably not worth it. But you got to be into it to make it work for you, I think, because the amp sections and all that are kind of ordinary. WooTube Mini, that's not going to work. Killing me. I thought I would have found it by now. I'd be pissed if I had jumped by it. There's another bottlehead crack. Very cool. That might work. .007 Mark 1, 1,600 bucks. That's a steal. Hey, fellas, check that out. Somebody pick up that pair. That's amazing stuff. Go check that out. I don't know anything about this one, but it looks pretty cool. Will Senton, R8. Anybody know about that? Right in the chat. I don't know anything about it. I was looking for the ZMF product, though, that it was for sale. Maybe they sold it. A lot of bottleheads for sale. I wonder if they came out with a new product. Or if it's the same guy, like, posting over and over and over. God, look at these. These are great tubes. These would go in Cavalli. Cavalli took these. So good. Great tubes. Dark voice, that'd give you enough power, probably as a pre. Where was that darn CMF? It must not be for sale anymore. That's the only thing I can think of. Well, there's more than one to, let's check this out. It's the pendant I'm looking for. Yeah. Here. 1,400 bucks. Check this out, Neil. This might work as a tube you idiot. Not bad looking. He's got some tubes with it. But I'll bet you could rig this as a pre. It's interesting anyway. So anyway, that would be something I would recommend. Maybe checking out something like that. I thought that might be pretty cool for you. I was just thinking about this today too, about what would make a good tube pre. Very cool. But I love looking through those classifieds, guys. I can get lost for hours in those Head-Fi classifieds. They're so fun. They're so fun. Ben Burridge says he has the same brand connector. Look, where was I at? Shit Freya. Yeah, that was a good one, Gene. That's a great recommendation. Nephilim told you he was filling out the rest of his photos. Neil says he'll have Ray Samuel's Intruder at Can Jam. Anybody who wants to listen. Tiny palm-sized amp, 12 watts balance per channel. That's this one. I could probably bring this too if I wanted to. Why not? He's look for the old man bent over with a walker and oxygen. Oh. Nephilim says, guys, portable rig has kept his sanity. Being able to go into any room in the house, escape even for an hour, is awesome. With work and the family, the desktop rig is not so accessible. And I remember you were telling us before, wasn't your wife stealing your desktop rig? Valentine Luke, how about the shit for you? We just talked about that. That's awesome. Neil says, what about the KNC9 portable vacuum tube amplifier? Very small. Thanks for looking. It's just a test. He doesn't want to spend more than 5K. but Neil, buddy, let's talk. You know you want to spend the extra money. That's fun. That's so fun, man. You know you want to spend it. We'll find a bit of tubiness for you for about $5K. What does a preamp do for you? Well, a preamp is going to do two things. It's number one, it's going to give you a warmer tube sound, a little more holographic in nature. It'll shave a little bit of detail away. But it will also allow you to more accurately stage gain, so you can avoid clipping or anything like that, and optimize for your headphone your output. It can be an additional way to stage your gain. And you could put it post DAC. You would put it after the DAC and before your amp. Many ways to do it, but that would be a way to do it. Gene says Super Tech, he mentioned on the Hangout calls in that range. Pretty good. If you're thinking about looking for a ZMF OTL collab with Deckware, yeah. Super Tech, take another look. So anyway, I think there's a number of ways to go on that, Neil, but that's what you'd be after. You'd be after adding a little bit of warmth, shaving a little bit of detail off. Usually a little bit of a compromise. You don't get that crystalline, sparkle on the top. It sort of rounds everything over a little bit, but it certainly sounds. It gives it a different warmth and a different approach to the sound. And sometimes you want to add that, particularly if you're listening to something that's a little more sterile, like, say, an X9000, which is a very clean and sterile headphone, precise. Even the Sesfara, the OG Sesfara, people say that's a little bit of a cold-sounding headphone comparatively. Whereas something like the Atrium or something is naturally warm, you wouldn't want to tube that up too much. Because it's a nice, beautiful sounding, although it's my favorite tube headphone, I think. These are great too, though. LCD, guys. It's so nice. Now, and what we're listening to here, these are Epidemic tracks, Epidemic sound, that's playing under everything right now. But they're so well recorded. And I hear the bass on that in here. It's so good. Nice. Okay. Nephilim is directing the show today. He's producing the show today. And he says, now it's time for music appreciation. And he's going to go with Big Country. Their 1983 album, The Crossing, is awesome. Steve Lillywhite produced it. And it produced the songs in a big country. Number 1 on the charts, number 3 in your hearts. I love that. I love Big Country. What a great sound. There was a big rush in the early 80s of music. And are they Scottish band? Were they Scottish or were they Irish? I can't remember. I think they were Scottish. But at any rate, there was a big revival of that, and there's a group called Slade that came out. Slade was really big back then. They were also from the same general region. I don't want to insult anybody by telling them they were a nationality that they weren't, but I believe they were both. But there was a big rush, and it was just before U2 came from Ireland, obviously. There's a lot of stuff. They're Scottish band. Thank you, JTB. But I remember Slade too. They were huge for a few years there. Big Country, they had 2 albums, and I think that they kind of diminished a little bit after that. But that first record was everywhere. God, that was everywhere. The Crossing. I will never forget it. So good. And it really ushered in kind of an 80s sound. 83 was around when there's still, we're still coming out a new wave at that point. Alt rock hasn't taken hold. Alt rock is in its infancy because REM is just tinkering away. Their first album was 1983, I think. So good though. Added Big Country to Rune. There you go. That's classic. I'm going to think if I've got one for this week. I haven't done much listening because of my work situation and what I've been trying to accomplish. Did I write anything down in my notes? Did I write anything down in my notes? No, I don't have anything down here. Sorry, fellas. We do have a new episode of the Director's Garage coming out, Quiet Riot. Yes. Right. They did, wasn't Come On Steal the Noise theirs? From Quiet Riot? Wasn't that a Slade cover? Yeah, they were good. They were good. Very interesting. God, I love music etymology, as you guys know. I'm such a huge nerd over that. I think for this week, if I'm going to say anything, I think I'm going to go with Neil's recommendation and check out the David Gilmore Luck and Strange album. What I heard of it sounded really good. I would need to spend more time with that album, but I think that would be a good recommendation for this week, and why not? He's one of the greats. One of the greats. I won't be recommending Taylor Swift this week. Just to throw some dazzle on the fire, some twist in there. Let's see what's new on Rune this week. As long as we're talking music, guys. So put your recommendations for music in the chat now, and I'll read them in a second. I'm just going to check and see what's new this week. We have a new LL Cool J. We have new Paris Hilton music. George Strait. That might be one to check out. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Camila Cabello. New music. Oh, Blink 182. I got to check that out. I'm going to put that on my list. Blink 182. One more time. Looks like there's just a couple of tracks out from that, though. That's not formally released for another... Oh, no, that's already been out. Looks like it was a re-release. Maybe it was a remix. Just checking to see if there's anything else that's out there. There's a new Neil Young Archives, out September 6th. Neil Young Archives Volume 3, very nice. That's all that's new. Nothing else is new. Sorry, guys. It's just fun to check some of this stuff out and see what's happening. So there you go. Oh, Peter Gabriel. Peter Gabriel's awesome, man. There's so much good Peter Gabriel music out there, and that last album that he did was really good. The only thing that was confusing was there were too many versions of it. He should have just come out with an album. And I'll tell you another group that I've been listening to a lot lately, and I just go through periods of time where I like to go back and listen to some nostalgic 70s music. Hall & Oates. Now, they were known in the 80s, they were a bigger group, but their 70s stuff is just so fun to listen to. They've got such a great sound, and those earlier records are so good. I'd highly recommend that. Go and check out. It's just fun to listen to, and if you've got like an Atrium, it's like the perfect Atrium album. Go listen to like Abandoned Luncheonette. So good. That's a great one. Listen to songs like She's Gone. Oh, so good. It's such good stuff. Such good stuff. These are great. Great recommendations. Sean Graham, what's up? Sean, we're doing music recommendations right now. You've missed a lot of show. This is the very end here. JTB said, heard one of the Gilmore songs singing with his wife. Very good. Yeah, I've heard a bunch of those. And like I said, scroll up in the chat. You'll be able to link to a live performance from him that he was doing in a rehearsal. I put a link in. One of my few Director's Garage posts in the chat was a link to the David Gilmore YouTube live rehearsal. Gene says his top listens this week are Endless by Nala Sinefro, don't know, and The Pearl by Harold Budd and Brian Eno. Well, Eno's got a sound, and I love almost anything Eno does, so that's a pretty good recommendation there, Gene. I like that. Peter Gabriel, yeah, The Intruder. If you want to buy, it'll make you want to buy the Ray Samuel's Little Lamp. That's awesome. Melting Face album from Gabriel is his fave. That's a very good one. That's the one with Salisbury Hill, I believe. Or is that Games Without Frontiers? I can't remember. Oh, one or the other. The one is the Windshield one, and I think that's Salisbury Hill. So it would be Games Without Frontiers. Luncheonette, good one. I'm not as familiar, but I'll check it out. Yeah, that's Scratch, 1978. Biko is his favorite. Yeah. Oh, that's a great, God, what a great track that is. Oh, guys, watch Rick Beato with Tony Levin. Oh. Yeah, Rick, I like Rick's stuff. He talks about music on a level that I'll never understand. He's really, he gets really into the actual technicals and music breakdown. Really smart guy, though. Enjoy him a lot. I can get lost on his videos. He's had a few that are really great. He had one with Sting that was really interesting. Go back and watch the Sting Beato thing. But not until we're done off the air, which we're going to end in a few minutes here. Rest in peace, Greg Kinn. I saw that, man. They don't write them like that anymore. Our Love's in Jeopardy. God, he wrote some good stuff. Not like pervasive, but he wrote a lot of stuff for other people too. He was a good songwriter. David Byrne, Grown Backwards, and Everything That Happens Will Happen Today. Is that a title from Byrne? I know so much of Byrne, but that one's not. It's not jumping out of me. Grown Backwards and Everything That Happens Will Happen Today. I think that's a lyric. Is that a title? Anyway, I love David Byrne. I can listen to the Hall & Oates Luncheonette. Yeah. That's great, Carl. David Byrne just is, and there was that rumor going around last week, and I don't think it was true, that the Talking Heads are going to reunite and do something together. They're not. That talk has died. It's subsided. The rumor has faded. But there was a moment there where everybody went, "Oh, really?" Because they could have gotten together a year ago, and they didn't, and they didn't. So there you go. But I still such a huge fan. I love the Talking Heads. Obviously, are one of my favorite groups of all time. So are the Clash. I shout them out all the time, though. You get tired of my same old recommendations. It's always about Talking Heads. It's always about Clash. Gene, for anyone see the Beat Tour with Vi, Levin, Carrie, and Ballou playing King Crimson 80s? Yes, they could not talk. They couldn't talk. What's his name from the? I'm trying to blank. Why am I stupid brain? Who's the artist I'm thinking of? Fripp. They couldn't talk Robert Fripp out of coming out to do the tour. They approached him and he kind of laughed at them. But yes, really great stuff. And there's a YouTube something with the four of them doing an interview. And I don't think it was Beato. I think it was for somebody else. But the four of them sat down for an interview together and talked about what they're going to be doing. And Ballou talked a little bit about his work with the Talking Heads. As you know, that's my favorite era of Talking Heads. When they brought in Ballou, I thought it gave them a very interesting and different sound for that Remain in Light album. And he even played, I think, something on, well, Fripp played on the Fear of Music album. He played on iZimbra. Or eZimbra, however you want to pronounce it. So there's a lot of crossover between, and then obviously Ballou left and went to King Crimson for the 80s and never returned to the Talking Heads because he wanted to do the crazy stuff that, you know, that Fripp was thinking of. Fripp does all those amazing crazy ass rhythms and then they all circle around and wind up together in time again. It's crazy stuff, but you've got to be a really technical player to play with him because you're going to be doing something different than everybody else in the band is doing, and it's all going to be somehow in time at the end. It's really crazy stuff. You've got to be a different kind of musician to play in King Crimson. I appreciate their music, but it's challenging to listen to. It's not something you sit back and just kick back and go, hey man, I'm just going to listen to some Crimson from the 80s because it's so technical. It's such technical music. But it's great. It's great stuff. Chance D says he's lamenting the passing of R&B legend Frankie Beverly of the group Maze. Yeah, I saw that. That was yesterday, right? I think that was yesterday I saw that. Carl, thanks for cleaning up the thing on Burn. Gene, thank you for the Fripp. Thanks for the Fripp, man. Arthur Haywood, you and me both, Chance D. Yeah. God, these greats when they go. Levin also has his new solo album out in 2 weeks. He saw Burn perform American Utopia. It was great. I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it though. Many clips. 15K tube amp, 15K solid state. You can only have one. Choose. Perp Dolo. I don't know. I think it depends. I think it depends on the headphone. It depends on what I'm going to drive with them. If I'm sitting here with a Susvara, I'm not going to pick a tube amp. I'm probably going to pick a solid state amp because I want the drive. I want a slammy slammer thing, and the tubes have a harder time doing that. But if you give me like the Atrium or you give me something else, then maybe I'll pick a tube amp. I don't know. I can only choose one. I mean, the tubes are more interesting and fun looking. So, you know, I think if they're more fun to have. But if I could only have one and the world's about to end, I'm going to take the solid state because the tube could blow. Sean Grant, have you heard of Yossi Haruwaka's Swashers and Timbers? No. And I'm going to copy. By the way, I'm just so you know, guys, if you think that I'm, you know, like, ignore all this shit, I don't. I make copies of this stuff and I put it down because I want to hear some of this stuff too. I'm a fan. So anyway, that's that. All right, guys, I'm going to start wrapping it up. We've been on the air for 90 minutes. Nice long show today, lengthy, meaty. We got viewer systems today. We talked about talked at length about the Mass Cobo, talked at length about the B21. Ray Samuels dropped in, and by the way, if you guys have missed it earlier in the show, Ray Samuels was watching the show, and he dropped in a little tidbit that he's going to be sending a B21 Raider to CanJam. Ray Samuels is sending a B21 Raider with ZMF. It's going to be in the ZMF booth at CanJam. Breaking news live on the Director's Garage. And that alone was probably worth sitting through 90 minutes of me rambling about bullshit. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Hey, we've got a new episode coming out. I don't know when it's going to come out yet. I haven't shot it. But I've got a new item on the floor here that is what's in the box. It's not a blind what's in the box. I know what's in it. But it will be a mystery to you, the viewers. So a lot of fun. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Tip your waiters and waitresses on the way out. Make sure you recycle those bottles and cans. and we're gonna have a good time with we've got. I'm gonna hook back up with Ryan Dietz. I'm gonna try and get him to come on camera for a few minutes on Saturday at the Hangover Hangout. We'll do Hangover Hangout on Saturday morning, and all y'all should come by if you can. Patreon link down below, and we'll do the Hangout on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, and we'll have Ryan Dietz there. That sounds like a pretty good plan. I mean, you'd want to know about the Mod House, don't you? Everybody should. Okay, guys. I'll see you guys before long, and we'll have a new episode out. It might even be next week. And I'll see you guys before you know it, all right? Cheers, everybody.
At the director's garage. For happy hour people. Hey, hey. Let's hang out and get wasted at the director's garage.